All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Surprise? No? Okay, anyway. We're reacting. I know, I'm so good at it. Might as well keep going. They get so many views. Ugh. See, this man's wheezy. He's got some good content, in theory. This video I just watched, and I like it a lot, so I want to talk about it. We're going to watch it again. I'm watching it back to back. Twice in a row, baby. The 2-time. When multiplayer games took themselves seriously. He's got another one down here. When games were social. I think this one, Old Call of Duty Sucks, Downfall of Call of Duty. So he's got some bangers on here. I remember Halo, some good video essays. But he brings up some good points, and I would like to comment on them. So let's do that, shall we?
You probably took a good look at the thumbnail and title and wondered what it even means. How could I throw in a soldier from the game Modern Warfare 2 and tag on keywords like identity, social, and casual when comparing it to something like Fortnite with contrasting words like generic, isolated, and sweaty? It's not me necessarily saying a modern game like Fortnite is
not
generic.
that hard.
It was quite innovative, but it rapidly spread the idea of crossovers and all these random additions making other games follow behind and ruin their established identities and instead turn into something generic looking. But what about the social and isolated?
Yes. Fortnite itself is not generic, but it has become generic because we're 5,000 seasons in, and every IP on Earth has collabed with Fortnite, and now every IP on Earth is trying to collab with other games like COD, Warzone, and, I don't know, Apex, and shit. Not really Apex, but you get the point. It's just, that's where he's coming from with the generic part.
Isolated contrast. Well, this simply means the eventual decline in social elements.
Wait a minute, am I at 1.5 speed? Holy shit. You understood what he said, though. We're not going to go back.
And the lack of encouragement to even socialize. Most online games where any match
that's a
you went
huge
into
point that I
used
wanted to touch
filled
on.
with people talking and
I know he's going to talk about it, and he just mentioned something important. People talking in games, but that doesn't exist anymore. And I kind of mentioned this in other videos. It's something as simple as being able to re-queue with the same group. You go back to your lobby, you vote on a new map, you can talk shit, and then go back in and continue to talk shit or make friends with these people because people just were on Xbox Live game chat or PlayStation game chat, whatever they call it, right? It was just the norm. If you didn't have a mic, you were almost an odd one out. Even if you're a little bit more of an introvert or a younger, shyer, maybe you're really just a kid, right? Didn't matter. You had a mic and you said something at some point, or someone would say something funny and would coax you into the conversation. Whatever it was, it's just not part of gaming anymore, and it's weird.
it's not exactly how good people are getting. It's rather lots of people trying to be super efficient at a game instead of kicking back a few times and goofing off, experimenting, and even the content we consume on the internet is a reflection of this. These are all topics I believe are heavily influencing the online landscape within video games. If you've ever questioned why...
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, is everyone trying to be a pro now? Is everyone trying to be a creator? I know it's just hypocritical. I'm trying to be a creator. I get it. But at the same time, why is that solid 80% of every player on every game that has any competitive aspect whatsoever? You have to run the meta build. You have to be top of the leaderboard. You have to grind up to the highest rank in the game. You have to play 200 hours past 2 weeks on Steam. You have to, I don't know. All right, good intro. Part 1, themes. Good old Chief in every game now. So disgraceful.
Our boy Master Chief has been thrown in several places. He's the guy from Fortnite now and came busting into Rainbow Six Siege. But what's the big deal? These are just video games. They aren't supposed to be serious. No one cares that much. When I say these multiplayer games,
I know he's quoting like Devil's Advocate. You know, oh, it's just a game. Like, so, God, I actually do. You know, talking about game chat, people online would call you a tryhard or no life if you were too good. It's like, what are you supposed to not try? So I know that kind of counterbalances my other point, but just funny. Oh, this.
You're taking this serious? Were you actually trying?
Shut up. You're just lost. You lost and you suck and you're salty.
Themselves seriously? I mean, they had a theme and didn't go too far out of bounds with it.
Thematic seriousness.
Theme gives a game a direction. You know what it's going to look like, what's our universe and possible lore going to be. Rainbow Six Siege, when I first played it, looked completely different than what it is now. Color choices, the characters and lore that have been brought in, the blending of all this random stuff that doesn't fit the game's original style. It's okay in moderation, but it gets to be too much at a certain point. It certainly can be...
That's not real, right? That's not real, right? Come on. Dude. Rick and Morty used to be good, man.
It certainly can be nice having something you like cross over.
Is this still Rainbow Six Siege? Why do we got Assassin's Creed? It's a Ubisoft title, so they just throw all the Ubisoft characters into R6, dude. What?
Like, but most of the time it'll be forced and only an intent.
What is his... Is it... It's a skin for an existing guy, right? But still, why?
Doesn't make any sense. Money. I covered this topic with Call of Duty and decided it was much bigger than just that franchise.
Also, and COD of all of them, like I almost want to say like, yeah, Fortnite is a good example of this bullshit, but also it's fine because it's Fortnite. It's like they did it first, so they get a pass. COD following suit and then just random celebrities that have nothing to do with anything being part of it is very weird to me. Snoop, Nicki, obviously like the creators, at least they play the game. At least Nick Merckx, absolute dickhead by the way, at least he plays the game. Makes sense for one of the biggest creators for your game to potentially get a skin in your game. What the fuck does Nicki do? Do you think she plays COD? Whatever she says she plays, she's not playing COD, dude. Are you kidding me? She's not grinding Warzone. Why do we need this skin?
There will always have to be sacrifices to the look of a game to appeal to gameplay. Serious here means it knows what the franchise is. Sometimes it'll try getting creative, but it doesn't ever let all these crazy elements seep into everything. A very completely healthy...
Bacon! Actually, this is kind of a small segue, but I remember, was it Doc? Fucking Doc. Another dickhead. Talking about, oh, they're just peddling weed to minors. It's like these right here, like these emblems and what would this even be called? Like a banner, I guess. They call it different every game, kind of. But there's like, there's weed banners traceable all the way back to like OG MW1 and 2. So like, what the f are you talking about?
Mix was back during Black Ops 2,
Selection
where
bias.
Most of these elements took
confirmation
over
bias,
was
whatever you want to call it,
camos,
whatever it is,
and emblems that could be made into anything by all players. That was it. Let me make a comparison example. In today's world, there are still online games that respect having a theme and trying to stick to it. Let's take a recently popular game like Helldivers.
Oh my god, it's almost like I watched the video already.
Environments playing as soldiers who are fighting for democracy. Also crowning these slick capes in a world with all these big spaceships. The whole community is on the immersive fun of this game. They love blindly rooting for democracy, creating cinematic moments, and going guns blazing. Now how about I just take your little immersive fun and throw some characters in there like Deadpool, Wonder Woman, Joel from The Last of Us,
Give me Rick from Rick and Morty.
Celebrities as well like Margot Robbie and The Weeknd. Then start throwing in random skins for guns.
It's funny he used The Weeknd, like so dumb. The freaking, he must have had a crazy contract because that Weeknd skin was in the Fortnite shop for like damn near 2 months straight. It was insane. It just never left.
Then start throwing in random skins for guns that try to suck all the dopamine out of you by doing all these cool tricks. You may look at some of that and think that'd be
like
funny,
a reload animation?
Or that'd be cool to play as someone like Deadpool. But is it really the place for it? I thought Helldivers was cool for the characters in the universe.
I do want to play as this guy though. Give me whitey with blonde hair like me, man. I want to be myself, but like a middle-aged dad who's
no limits with some of these things. They could take ships and make them into something completely different. Maybe introduce a new faction that doesn't make any sense to the world. And maybe add all these customizable cosmetics that doesn't fit the nature of the game in any capacity. If all this happened, how would your perception of the game change?
It would just be another fucking failed live service attempt. I know that obviously these videos exist and you watching may have already seen them, but I genuinely think, despite the fact that Helldivers has shot themselves in the foot, and it's not even them, it's Sony shooting them in the foot, the game should still be studied. It still has a decent player base, does it not? Let's go to SteamDB. Yeah, it's dead. No, not really. It's still top 25 of all computer games on Earth at any given point. Actually, let's do 24-hour peak. Yeah, 27, so top 30, top 50, whatever. Jeez. Anyway, still study this shit, man. It's a live service that works, and it doesn't force garbage monetization. There's monetization, but it's fair, it's equal, it respects your time. It's so good.
In ways, the overload of adding all these random microtransactions is a bailout for money making on the business side. Rather than getting really creative with the content they add that brings more life to a game, they'd rather play it extremely safe. Do what every other big company is doing with their live service game.
Even Fortnite with releasing 500,000 skins, the first handful of full chapters were mostly unique skins. Couple collabs, a couple IPs here and there, but it was still mostly like their own types of skins that work with the environment. Even like Peely is iconic, like that's not another IP, that's Fortnite. The Jonesy character that's got a bunch of different variants, that's Fortnite. It wasn't until like the Marvel Avengers collabs and all the other superheroes, and now, you know, got Alien, Predator, you've got Rick and Morty that I've said 400 times already. It's just ridiculous.
I get it if you don't care about the random visuals and appearance, but you wonder why single player games have been on fire while online games have been much more sporadic and pumping out more failures than successes.
Yep.
It's because lots of these follow a very similar path. Even the ones who have decent launches eventually start going downhill pretty fast. It's why some people have been sticking to their classics and the really well-made ones that have been going for plenty of years. I'd say some people have become perfectly fine with remasters of games rather than new ones, because they trust that so much better than anything else that can come out. And even then, you could see those same remasters get plagued by some of these modern elements. But
I was just gonna say that. I had two thoughts there. But yeah, even the remasters, they find a way to like not actually do it in an honest way, and they shoehorn a battle pass in, or like, I don't know, just like not even include the DLC, so you still have to buy the DLC, like just garbage. But another thing is like comfort games and all the coming out. Like at this point, if you're a new game, the barrier to, it's almost like customer acquisition cost if you are a business guy, like acquiring a new player to step away from the game that they already know, that they like, they enjoy it, they're cool with the monetization practices, whatever, to get them to push that to the side and take a complete gamble at this point, because that's what it is. You're gambling. If it's free to play, you know there's going to be garbage microtransactions and battle passes. If it's not free to play, then it's probably $70+, which is way too much for a game. People just don't do it. So yeah, no, his point is good. Like, yeah, people are just going to keep playing CSGO and CS2 forever because they're not going to try a new IP. They're just not going to. It's not worth it. Risk versus reward. It's very simple. Dumb it down to that. They don't find the reward to be worth the risk. They'll just play the game that they like, that they've been playing for a decade because they like it, and the new stuff sucks typically, so chances are this one will suck too. You know, whatever it is. You can even say that about series you like Call of Duty. Like, dude, I don't have the player counts, and it's hard because they keep shutting down old ones, but I bet if like OG MW2 servers were alive and kicking and not infested by you know, modders and hackers and were just playable safely, I bet they would have the higher counts than the new stuff, or at least comparable, because so many people will just go back and play the game they know is good. I'm rambling, as always.
in the overall look of a game, it's very important, but it's not everything. Multiplayer games have gotten more lackluster because they are missing a lot of the magic that multiplayer games over a decade ago were providing.
Yep. I think this is where he talks about. Yep, voice chat.
Seriously, stop. You're annoying. Especially go by. Shut up.
It's not me, it's the world on my right.
Dude, look at my dumbass just smirking at these idiots playing in 360p Halo 3 with just everyone's mic sounded exactly like that. It didn't matter if you were rocking a new Turtle Beach or the cheap off-brand, like over, you know, knockoff from China that was $12 on Amazon. Everyone's mic sounded like shit, and everyone was just muffled like, it's so funny though. It's awesome.
Can you tell me how many people you have met in game and actually talked to in the past month? What's
Voice
the
chat?
average?
Month?
If you've been gaming
Zero.
a long time before
6 months?
that,
0. 24 months? 0. I don't turn on game chat. I'm a hypocrite, I know. But Christ, why? There's no incentive to. And I think he touches on that. But if the game even has a game chat, which most games just don't deal with anymore because people are racist and just hate speech and shit. So if they even want to put themselves at risk of dealing with that and learning how to moderate it and all that stuff and having those tools, it's just not worth it because no one else is talking, and it's like you're just gonna, it's one of those things, it's like a chicken and egg situation. Like no one wants to be the one person in game chat. But I think if they're just theoretically was the full team in game chat and one person that didn't, that person might go get their mic and join in. But they're not gonna start that momentum. There's no momentum, and everyone doesn't want to start it. No one wants to start the momentum, so.
and the biggest thing that I always notice is that I rarely stumble into a game where people have mics on. An active group of people who will join into a conversation at possibly
Yeah, dude. 3 in
any point.
reach.
Inside the
God.
game was where I used to meet everyone that would be tallied onto my friends list. Almost every 2 weeks, I would.
No, I'm gonna say it.
definitely-
I was like, I don't know if I should say it because it's not super relevant, but it's like me just thinking about these old Halo games. Like you really take it for granted, and I'm sure the kids who grow up now, whatever they're playing now, they might think similarly when they're my age. But it really is insane how much worse it has gotten in a lot of these smaller, like quality of life aspects, almost like just little social things, little stuff that makes them the overall experience, in my opinion, better are gone, or they are changed in a way that is not necessarily consumer friendly. It just kind of leads to more bullshit. And that stinks, man. It just stinks. Like, God, going back, just take me back to prime Halo Reach and MW2 and like, I don't know, Battlefield 3. And even if you go single player games, you had like, I know it's not my favorite Fallout, but you had Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. Like this is like early 2010s era of gaming, like late 2020s and early 2010s. Just so many good, genuinely fantastic gaming experiences. And you can, even the modern equivalent of those games, if it's the same IP or not, it just doesn't compare because of a lot of these back end like quality of life little things. Like just having a game chat that works, that people actually use, and staying in your lobby and like voting on maps and like being social and experiencing the game with other people instead of maximizing skill-based matchmaking or retention matchmaking or whatever the official term. I didn't look it up in the last one. I'm gonna look it up. SBMM versus EOMM. Engagement optimization. Engagement optimized matchmaking. Yeah, it's like literally they're like gonna put you in lobbies where you will see the skin that's on sale in the store that you haven't bought yet, and they want to put it in front of your face and up your ass as many times as possible so that you can purchase the skin. Stuff like that. I mean, that scientifically, like, this stuff is proven. I mean, scientifically a dumb way of saying it, but there's data to back this up. It is a real thing. it's so frustrating. The more I talk about it, the more I want to punch these CEOs in the face, shove them down a flight of stairs. Just fucking get out. Go ruin the housing market instead, you know? Go make money on real estate. Leave this shit alone. Editor, have fun bleeping all that out.
One new person I added to the friends list, mostly because of some fun we had in a match. And I was never a big talker.
Hey, you just
either.
run into someone that you
flash
vibe
forward
with.
to today, and most of the people I have met have been outside of the game.
It's dead silence all game, and then maybe they'll hop onto text chat if a game even supports that and tell you to kill yourself. That's the modern social aspect.
Sources where the capabilities of making friendship through a fun or intense match is much lessened. And you know, as a gamer, you might look over a lot of this because we can be some of the most introverted and shy people. But once you break the ice with someone and say, F it, we're going to
I
make
think it's
this
a
match.
dumb narrative at this point, though. Right? Introvert versus extrovert. It's like people who are introverted just aren't comfortable with strangers. Like, it's not even that they don't have the ability to talk and have fun. It's like they just, there's some legs to it, but it's like just labeling black and white. You're either a lonely, shy little bitch, or you are a Chad who can walk up to any girl at the bar. Like, it's so 0 or 100. It's so stupid. The average person is somewhere in the middle. And Haley's listening, and she's saying it's a spectrum, and you were right. Thank you. I was struggling to find the right way to say it. But yeah, even that frustrates me at my core. It's just so dumbing complex relationships and like topics down to like X or Y, 1 or 0, black or white, like two polar opposites is so bad for the progression of humanity. It's insane, and we do it so often as gamers because everyone just wants to be on the winning side, and it's picking a side and sticking to it. It's so dumb. But going back to the actual topic of this video, yeah, I don't think all gamers are even introverted. I don't even know if you can say that. Maybe all gamers that play a certain style of game or category of game or whatever will tend to be more introverted than extroverted. But as a whole, everyone games now. This isn't like a little thing that the nerd in your class, the introverted nerd, plays games. It's like gaming is larger than TVs and movies combined. There are more gamers than there are TV watchers. Or, well, there's more money in it. I guess the actual count of number of people who watch TV is probably still higher. But you know what I mean? It's not like the one loser on the back who sits in the front of the bus in 3rd grade is the only gamer. Like 95% of the dudes on that bus are gaming. Like it's everyone. So it's not that we're all introverted. It's just like, let's push past that surface level stupid argument. Like, get to some real progress here. Anyway, bringing on back to the video.
But once you break the ice with someone and said, F it, we're going to make this match that we are in right now a fun one, it's one of the best times you'll look forward to any moment you hop into the games.
So just one more small thing to add to that is, yeah, if you just focus on having fun, instead of going back to one of his earlier points on like min-maxing, perfectly optimizing your loadout with meta builds to be the best in the world and have the best content, like if you just take a step back, have fun with it, it's going to be meaningful and it's going to be the stuff you look forward to. Again, I say again, but really I talked about this in another video, in the past React video on playing games wrong. But if you really sit down and think hard about what you remember as like your best gaming experiences from your childhood, it's not the time that you ran a fade on the whole fucking lobby solo and like you just had a really good game, thumbs up. Like, it might feel good in the moment, but that doesn't last any stretch of time. But you might remember the time you're screwing around with your boys or a new friend, if this is me, driving the Warthog, and this is a guy on the other team. Well, I don't know if the game chat goes beyond teams, but you know what I mean? It might be a new friendship that you made in that moment, doing some goofy Forge map on Halo Reach. That's going to be more memorable, right?
You take away these
Memorable.
opportunities
Mumbling.
of meeting people or even just chit-chatting with a few people for even just one match, and eventually, no matter what, the game will start to get really stale because the gameplay can only carry the game for so long in an online environment. Now, it's not completely dead. Not everyone is friendless, but you can't deny that there's factors holding this all back. I'm not going to dig deep into specifics as I've already talked about this topic beforehand, but you could blame things like voice chat restrictions, not everyone
100%.
having a microphone, apps like Discord, and so on. But I want
Discord's
to
a
touch on
net
the
benefit
problem
for
that
sure,
I
though.
always see brought up, where lots will say the games have gotten too sweaty. On the surface of this topic, you may think it's just people trying way too hard. And yes, I do believe with a bigger population,
Before he makes his real point, can we agree that if you play Warzone like this,
I always see brought up,
you
where lots
are
will
the
say the games
you're the
have
reason
gotten
this shit
too
sucks.
sweaty. On the surface of this topic, you may think it's just people trying.
you're just like spam clicking around the whole time?
If I'm flashing back to one of my favorite multiplayer games of all time, once again, Black Ops 2, I enjoyed it thoroughly for a multitude of reasons discussed before in this video, but also because of how the average gamer was back then. Not everything was about getting the most kills and seeing who pops off the most. We weren't in that mindset all the time.
It's such a bad
Other
mindset.
times
So
we
toxic.
thought about experimenting, maybe popping on the riot shield and trying to troll some randoms.
Yeah.
Maybe
I already
we
see
told
it's
the lobby,
TheeFURNAS, yeah.
let's make this a quick scoping match and see how many people would try joining
Like
in on
the
it.
I would almost say I would pay money right now from my non-existent wallet, because who the f carries cash these days, right? But I would whip out 100 to give me a group of friends that'll just f around in games like the TheeFURNAS crew. Where is my Nogla and Wildcat Terrorizer? Where? I need that. I need that. You watching this? You think you'd vibe? Hop in my Discord, say hi. Maybe we'll get there in a few months or something. All right, no promises, but I'm just saying. I need more people to game with, man. God damn it. It gets me riled up every time I start thinking about it. I sometimes talk about it, but it's not like I talk about it every day. I used to, like, this is my second account. I started as a Rocket League guy, and then I pivoted to Crab Champions, so I was like, algorithms, like, let's just make a new account. In hindsight, probably shouldn't have, but whatever. It is what it is. My old account, I streamed, you know, got... Megalaw, dude? 0 viewer. I was a streamer for multiple years on Twitch during the pandemic. You know, hey, good way to pass that time. I don't really like streaming anymore. Don't do it. But that was part of something I did. And especially with Rocket League, just trying to get better. I mean, I grinded 3,400 hours into that fucking game on computer, on PC. And I have like 900 some, almost 1,000 on Xbox. No other game is even close. Even Crab Champions, which is, for the most part, the focus of this channel, or at least it was for a while. I'm at like 300 and some hours. And that's a lot. That's a lot of hours for one game. Talk about 4,500 hours in Rocket League. Like, what am I doing? The amount of games I want to play and the amount of experiences like this, like the TheeFURNAS crew, where I could just be gaming and having fun with a friend group. It's like, you know, live and learn, right? Look back is what it is. Not gonna cry about it, but yeah, man. So someone play this fucking. I would love to play COD with people. Playing COD solo, for all the reasons he's talking about, one of the worst gaming experiences ever created. Now, if you had a group of friends and actually play for fun and go riot shields and just screw around, then it's a blast. You'll remember that shit for years. But as it stands now, with everything being solo, oh my goodness. Okay. Woo! What do we got? A minute? 2 minutes left?
How many people would try joining in on it? Maybe take this business over to a custom game so we can play some window wars. The product of not being super sweaty all the time and maximizing everything led to variety and people creating their own fun.
Their own fun. Okay. Trick shotting, ninja diffusing, cross map, tomahawk. Yeah, tomahawks only, throwing knives only. Any sort of throwing insta-kill thing, do that only. Or quick scoping only. Yep. Reaction baiting. Yeah, dude, Mike Myers, my God. That's just like, boom, unlocked a little, a folder that was hidden down in the hard drive of my brain of just doing that in like OG MW2. I hate that I have to say OG, but it's great naming as always from the Microsoft, Xbox, Activision group. What's the next Xbox gonna be called, do you think? The Xbox Series X2? That'll be great. That's perfect.
With what was given to them. The internet was a perfect reflection of this. My favorite group of creators were focused on making content
and he's
for
stuck in the
fun,
middle. That's so funny.
Around in the game, getting
Dude, and I don't even want to go too crazy because obviously I've made it very clear I'm not grinding COD these days, okay? They just brought MW3 to Game Pass. I am a Game Pass cuck, so I do have it. What I'm trying to make, that clip we just saw with the riot shields, they stuck this dude. This guy, like, actually cannot damage them just due to the first person, like, they're all, maybe he can slip a couple bullets in there. I don't even think you could do this in the current game. Can you? I feel like there's a lot of fun components of gaming like this. It's goofy, it's glitchy. I think this would be considered a glitch now, and I think they would be forced to patch it out. And that sucks. Like I mentioned, another one I mentioned in the last React video with Playing Games Wrong by Rasputin, and like Halo Reach and Halo 3, you could like stand on someone's ghost or their Warthog, or even like players on top of other players and like move around. The person on bottom could move and the person on top would just stay on top. And now that's 100% not a thing you can do. It's definitely like something with the physics engine would like bounce you off or slide you off or whatever. It just wouldn't be a flat surface you could stand on. So same thing here. I guarantee that if you got a group of 5, someone send a clip. I want to see it. I'm not convinced you could even do this level of shenanigans if you wanted to. And that it's like, why did you have to take that away in the pursuit of realism? Dude, it's Call of Duty with a Nicki Minaj skin. Shut up and just let us do goofy shit. Like, this guy might be annoyed for 5 minutes and he'll move on. And everyone else gets to enjoy that moment.
Messing around in the game, getting reactions from others, and that would then influence others to get out and try the things they did. In a game like Call of Duty, many of the most iconic things to do,
and his group,
such as something as grand as trick shotting, was a result of the internet.
I was never into trick shotting. I think it's stupid. Mostly because, like, yeah, call it skill all you want, but most of that is getting lucky.
It was something that the developers of the game didn't implement and was an unnatural result.
Dumb to try myself. How about that? Dumb for me to try.
Of a game. To break it down simply, the way we look at...
Did not just say to break it down simply. Let me break it down for you, Mark. Insert Omni-Man. Omni-Man from Fortnite, the guy from Fortnite, dude.
The way we look at an online environment has changed in ways that games such as Black Ops 2 couldn't be replicated in today's world because of the way things have changed.
I obviously I'm just like, I'm so pissed. I'm nitpicking everything, but he just said it changed because of the way it changed. Fair enough. That is technically...
It was always the environment that was created from things such as goofing off, watching it on YouTube, and then trying that in game. But you didn't do that all alone. The whole community was reactive, and you went into those matches trying things to only meet some of the coolest people who may or may not have stuck around for a while in your gaming life. But either way, it was fun, and what made me want to keep playing a game for much longer than I do nowadays. Fortunately for the industry, smaller...
Yeah, I mean, he's ultimately saying, you know, he said a couple good points there besides the graphic point. The graphics we so desire. Every game looks good now. Even the stylized cartoonish ones. Like, can we shut the fuck up about graphics at this point? I mean, there's thematic issues and there's thematic inconsistencies and all that stuff. But from a pure, like, does this look like a plate? Yes. Does this look like the weapon? Yes. There's a doorway, I can tell. Like, everything looks like what it's supposed to look like.
In the innovating graphics
and what was the other point you made here?
It was always the environment that was created from things such as goofing off, watching it on YouTube, and then trying that
on your own, and you weren't alone.
But you didn't do that all alone.
All right, so jog my memory on that one. Like, yeah, just there's so many layers to it, right? It's not just that people in general were less try-hard competitive, but it's also that there were more creators engaging in goofy stuff, and those creators were so influential that the whole community, lots of the community, would also engage in that goofing off. And it wasn't a bunch of people going solo. They were doing it with their friends and it was social. Like, just so many different aspects there where you just don't really see it. I mean, it's not like no creators do goofy shit. They still exist, but are they the top creators? Are they getting the most views? Are they getting the most support? Probably not. It's probably the guys who are going for pro, especially games outside of it. A lot of focus has naturally been on Call of Duty. There's such a massive mainstay video game franchise that refuses to die despite being substantially worse every year to some extent. But yeah, I don't have a good way to wrap that one up. Sorry about that.
Playing a game for much longer than I do nowadays. Fortunately for the industry,
I need to play Lethal Company.
Smaller budget games understand this better.
Yes, they do.
We
Small
get to
budget
see that to some degree.
To some degree. Oh, damn it. Oh, you had a good segue there, dude. Maybe there's a follow-up. Is there a part 2? Dude, liking stuff for part 2? So that's probably the biggest takeaway, man. Go play with your friends. I said it in the last one. I'll say it again. I'll say it in the next one. Go play with your goddamn friends, man. You're gonna miss it when your friends are graduating, they're getting jobs, they're moving away from home, or maybe like myself, you're the person who moves away from home. Friends got to take a flight to come see me. So guess what? It doesn't happen very often. They're starting to have families or they're going to grad school or whatever. It's eventually going to go away to some extent. Continue making good friends. Be social. Games are better when they're social. I'm fully convinced at this point. You will not tell me otherwise. If you like the video, like the video. It does help me out. Subscribe for more of my dumb ass. I'll see you in the next one.